I'm Dr. Lindsay Coble.
Dr. Noel Crosby, and this is the Sound Sisters, the Hearing Diaries. Today, I was telling Lindsay, I've been watching all the new graduates post that they've been graduating on LinkedIn in their cap and gowns and their excitement for the future. And it just really encouraged me. So today we thought we would kind of talk about being a new grad and thinking about some tips that we wished somebody had told us when we graduated. So this episode is focused on for you, all you new grads out there.
And I think the first conversation we want to have is the stress of that first job. I feel like you want to make sure you make the right decision. You put a lot of pressure on yourself to get that perfect
Yeah.
first job. But let's just talk about that, Noelle. Like, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on your first job? And maybe it doesn't have to be forever, but how
Yep.
do you balance that
Oh my
decision?
gosh, I wish I had had that advice because I got my first job and I stayed there for 14
Oh,
years.
yeah, yes. You kind of
And
think
I
you,
stayed
you're
there
like
way
owe it to that job or something.
exactly. Like I
Yeah.
felt so like I was my duty to
Yeah.
stay there. And I wished I had left sooner. I mean, it was a great experience, but I could have left way sooner than I did. So I
Uh-huh.
think that's one of the things we want to say is that, that first job, you may want it to be perfect, but listen, you haven't worked before. You don't really know if that's the type of job that you want or that's going to be best suited for you or that you're going to like or that's even going to be a good fit for you.
Mhm.
So you want to put yourself into the job and do the very best you can, but you don't have to stay there forever.
Yeah, I mean, and I
Anything
think my
else?
first job, I loved my first job at that ENT clinic. I learned so
Yeah,
much, but then I got to the point where I'm like, I'm kind of craving something. What's next? So I was at the ENT clinic for 3 years. Then I worked for the manufacturer for 4 years. Then I
yeah,
decided to open my own practice. But it's like you kind of have to find your way in this industry. And I
yes,
think people kind of give up on that or kind of forget about their own dreams when they just devote
I
so
think so.
much. Which I think
Yep.
it's good to devote yourself to your job, but you don't
Yeah.
want to lose yourself in it.
No, and you certainly don't want to be doing a job that maybe isn't a good fit for you. That's not
Yeah,
good for anyone.
yeah,
So, I know as an employer, if I hire somebody and I invest in them, I want them to stay with me if they're a
right.
good fit. But at the same time, if they're not, sometimes it's difficult for one of you to make that decision that maybe you need to move on. But sometimes
Hmm.
it's actually a relief for everyone involved
Right.
if it's not the right job for you. So
Yeah,
that's our
not the right
first tip.
fit. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tip number
Yeah.
one. Tip
Yeah.
number two, let's talk about finding your people. So important to survive this industry and field. Tell us who
Yeah.
are your people, Noelle. Where have you found your people?
I love, when I joined Florida Academy of Audiology, when we started that group, that's really the first time that I felt like I was connected to other people because I worked kind of by myself. And so I got to meet other audiologists. I got lots of audiology friends. Now, this was before Facebook, before, we
Hmm.
really, we had to call each other on the phone. And it was a very different time. But I felt like that really was a huge step for me as being part of my state association. And then I would say joining in Theos was the next big step because in Theos as a group, as a co-op, we're all about community and collaboration. And so I have a whole community I can go to. And then just Facebook, LinkedIn, reaching out. Like you and I would have never met if we
Now,
hadn't, started like seeing each other and
social
then
media, yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
that really, brought so many wonderful, amazing people into my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
How about
And
you?
I think
Yeah,
for me, it's I have a group. We call ourselves the Indiana Mastermind Group, but it's a group of private practice owners that we have a group text that we text daily. We talk
right,
daily, and then we
right.
meet once a month. We meet on a Friday morning in Zoom. We're all over the state. We're not competition. We're just
Yeah, I love
friends with
that.
similar values, similar business models. Those are my people. And then I also would say I have a group of, we're not like an organized group or anything, but I have like a friend in Chicago who has a private practice. I have a friend in Phoenix who has a private practice. I have a friend in Pennsylvania who are all kind of the same age. We all opened
Right.
our practice in the last like 3 to 4 years. So, it's kind of like new ownership woes that I can
Yes.
talk to with them about and what are you doing and how are you doing that. It really makes you feel not like you're on an island. And I
Yeah.
think it makes you learn. I mean, like Noel always says, be curious, not judgmental of they want to know why am I taking a third party? And I want to know, do you see this one or how are you not? Or
Yeah.
how do you charge for that? But
Yeah.
just to
Don't
have
be.
people who aren't competition to
Yeah.
bounce ideas off of, it's so helpful.
Yeah. Having those colleagues like that. And how
Yes.
did you guys get together as the
Social
like the
media.
Indiana group?
Oh, our Indiana group. Our
Yeah.
Indiana group, we all just kind of like knew each other from conferences, I guess. And we kind of just decided that, we're all distance apart. None of us are
Right.
competition. We all take or took third parties. So we were all kind of having that like struggle together of what are you doing? And we just decided, let's just start meeting and talking about marketing ideas and pricing ideas. And
Yeah. Love
yeah, I
that.
mean, it just takes someone to take the effort to start it.
Yes. It's got to have, you got to have those, that starter, you know?
Yes, yes. I mean, yeah, same with our Indiana Audiology Coalition group. Erica and I kind of took the head on that too. Same, more
Yep.
like the same ones in our other little group. But,
Yep. Yep.
and then it's just another, again, what a great group of people in that Indiana Audiology Coalition group.
Oh, yes. I mean, you guys in Indiana has some amazing audiologists. I'm
We
a
just have
little
such a
jealous.
good group. Let's talk about burnout. So we talk about our people. You need your people to not burn
Yep.
out.
Yep.
But have you ever burned out at a job?
Yeah, so I've done a few different jobs. I was worked for the ENT for the 14 years, and then I switched and I was a trainer for a hearing instrument company. Then I was a network manager for like a buying group, and then I was a sales rep for
Mm-hmm.
and then I bought my office. When I left clinical to do the training, I
Mm-hmm.
thought I will never want to work clinically again. I
Mm-hmm.
love this side of it. I feel like I was really burnt out from seeing patients and from just that daily grind with that. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I switched, I was doing the training and then I wanted to switch again. So I think every time I switched, I thought, oh, I'm so glad I switched. I don't want to do that
Yes.
position again.
Yes.
But
Uh-huh.
I really did enjoy it, up to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I bought my own office, I thought, this is really where, like for me, the ending of my career is this is a
Mm-hmm.
perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This is perfect place. But I still sometimes get burned out, when you have days where you're
Yeah.
competing against the managed care and the
Mm-hmm.
big box and the your own corporate stores down the street that are competing against you and patients aren't happy. Like you do have that, but you got to find a way to enjoy your life and balance your life so it doesn't get you down, you
So
know.
true. And I mean, I think recognizing if you are burned out and it lasts for, months, 6 months into a year, it could
Right.
be that you're not in the right spot.
That's right.
I feel
Yeah.
like audiology is such a really enjoyable profession that if you're feeling that way, it might be time for a shift because you
Yeah.
may just be totally sabotaging your career and your happiness.
Yeah. And
Um,
even if it's something like you feel like you've invested in and you're
yeah,
obligated to, there's still ways, like it's your life. You only
yeah,
get one life. You shouldn't be doing a job that you're miserable
it
at,
makes you feel
no
heavy.
matter
No,
what.
no. And we've all seen people who are like that, and it does not need to be like that.
Yeah, so be willing to make that, that step if you need to. Talk to your colleagues. Just realize it's your life and life should be fun and happy and enjoyable.
Yes,
So,
light, light.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Should we shift to talking about the business
Yes,
side of things
yes.
and understanding business as a new grad,
Yes.
which it's like we do not get enough of that education in grad school.
No.
But yeah, I think, we just had a great conversation with Whitney Swander. I think under being open to understanding the business side, and you don't have to think about it as sales, but
Right.
constructive criticism or constructive mentoring to how you can convey your message more clearly to patients, how you can
What you
help
want to be, what you
patients.
want your business to be.
Yes, yes. I mean, I think that is just such a good lesson for new graduates. I think sometimes we can come out thinking we know everything or we learned everything, but it's like to take a step back and realize that we can learn so much from those who have done it much longer than us.
Yeah.
It's
And there's
okay.
so many resources out there
Yes.
for help. And there's so many of us seasoned
Hmm.
audiologists who are willing to assist and help and guide you or tell you where you might be able to get things from. So, don't be scared to reach out to other people to ask their
Hmm.
advice.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And then we're down to the comparison.
Yes.
What is that? Comparison
That
is the
can
thief
mess
of
you up.
joy. Is that, yeah, it can mess you up. And with social media now, and,
Yes.
speaking to the new grads, some may not have a job yet. And,
Yeah.
that can be really hard. Some have landed their dream job. Some are still trying to find a job.
Yeah.
That can be so hard.
Or
And I
like
think
we were saying, they're looking for that perfect
the
job and
perfect
they may
job.
not feel like that's what it is, but it may turn into that,
Yes, and look at
you
Whitney,
know?
who said she started at Belltone.
Yeah,
Maybe not the title that she thought she wanted going through grad school, but that made her learn so much to get to where she got today.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think comparison as a young provider, you compare yourself to those you see on LinkedIn or social media who are 15 years your superior. You can't
right,
think that you need to be in their same level. You have to
right.
recognize that, like, they had roadblocks and curves in their career path. You just have to start and kind of one foot in front of the other to find your way. But
Yeah.
yeah, it can be the
Yeah,
comparison,
it's
can be
the
the thief of joy or whatever that is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that will even happen with me. Like, me, my goal was to have a life outside of my practice and
Yeah,
I was going to run my practice. It wasn't going to run me,
yeah,
which has been my philosophy for the 20 years. But, every once in a while when I see some other audiologists growing and opening other offices and,
yeah,
being really successful, and I think, oh, maybe I should do that.
yeah,
But every time I start thinking about that or planning it, it doesn't make me feel good. Like
yeah.
I don't want that. I don't that I'm so happy for that person. I'm not going to compare myself to them, but I'm going to follow my own path. And that's
Yes,
always coming back to that is what's kept me so happy working.
yeah.
And I still, want to keep working for as long as I am
Yes,
enjoying
because you
it.
enjoy it.
So,
Yeah, because you enjoy
yeah,
it. Yes. And that takes practice and time to recognize that they
yeah,
can be happy doing it that way, but I'm
yeah,
actually pretty happy doing it this way. So we don't have to always all do the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah. And then, oh yeah, let's do the human part, right?
yeah,
Or do you have
yeah.
something else you want to say about the
Nope,
other thing?
nope. I was gonna just jump to the human part.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I think especially with the world the way it is now, I feel like that's the piece that we all can provide
Mhm.
that is so necessary. That some companies and some,
Yeah.
sometimes you lose sight of that. But, if you can really make a difference and touch somebody in a way where you change their life, oh my gosh, that is so meaningful.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can't like systems and AI and efficiency is one thing, but the human part of audiology is the piece that puts it all together, I feel.
Yes. And I would say, to the graduates that we're having this conversation with is yes, don't let yourself get burned out. Find a job that you enjoy and
Yep.
find a job that allows you to have that humanistic aspect to it because that's what makes our job so rewarding. And I think
Yeah.
that's why we all love audiology. It's the technology side and that humanistic side. And so if you ever feel yourself like losing touch of that or not feeling good about the way you're being told to do things, it might be time for a change, and that's okay. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So we hope this message is helpful to all of you. We're excited to see all the things you're going to do and create in this wonderful field of audiology. You can reach out to either one of us. We're always here to have you bounce things off of us, and we're just so excited for you. So congratulations.
Congratulations, graduates.
Yeah. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Sound Sisters.